All right. Supposed to go live in about 2 minutes, but you know, better early, earlier than late. So I'm just hopping off a few minutes early. Today I will be going solo. So you could get all your questions in. If I could answer those questions, I will answer them to the best of my abilities. But yeah, there's a few things that I have on the on my list of conversation topics, and I'm gonna run it down real quick so you guys kind of have an idea of what's gonna happen during this show. Now we got the first thing on the docket is former Road FC lightweight champion, probably the most notorious, the most flamboyant, I guess, out of all the champions for Road FC. Kwon A Sol would be that guy, and what it looks like is he's going to retire from MMA and heading to Brazil, of all places, for missionary work. So I'll get into some of that, and we'll talk about. I'll roll over and kind of summarize his career and some of the things that maybe you want to go back and watch if you don't know much about him. He was definitely a star on the regional scene in Korea, a guy that fought everywhere throughout his career in Asia, at least. And we'll go over some of the things that he's been doing, or some of the things that he did in his throughout his career. Another thing that I want to get into today is uh, Asakura, Mikuru Asakura. He has this list of demands or these options that he wants to go with, and in the next step of his career. And he has four options. I'm going to go over those four options and maybe discuss how plausible those options can be, and maybe which one I want to see and which one will most likely never happen. We'll go over that. Another thing is over the weekend, Song Yadong, he got his, I believe, sixth win in the UFC, and we'll go over that fight and the decision and where does he go from here, and we'll get into the tweets that Cheeto Vera, or this one tweet in particular, Cheeto Vera put out, and kind of has you know some weirdness to it. So we'll go over that stuff. This coming up weekend on Saturday in Korea, they're gonna have a show, an MMA show. No audience, but it will be fights in a cage. It's a new venture for Road FC. They're holding hands with Africa TV, and they have a brand new rule set. And I'm gonna discuss and break down their rule set, their system that they have, and uh, and kind of go over some of the things about this partnership that Road FC has with Africa TV. And if we have time at the end, maybe talk about Bibiano. I think he just said that he might want to go up to featherweight, and I feel like that's a good discussion to have because there's a lot of things that he can accomplish at featherweight. Because really, what does he have left at bantamweight? To be honest with you, so so if you guys got any questions, any comments, uh, anything, just put them in the chat. Uh, just if you just want to throw out something like, hey, where are you from? I would like to know, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, where are you from? You know what I mean? I would like to know that. I would like to know, if you want to put your name on there, put your name on there. Just throw it out there. And any questions, man. If you got questions about MMA, you got questions about anything, it doesn't matter, man. Just or woman, just put them on the chat, and I'll go through those slowly but surely. Now, the first thing um, that I want to go over is Kwon A Sol retiring, or possibly retiring from MMA. That's what it seems like. The reason why I say that is because on a post, a recent post on Instagram by the owner of Road FC, um, he wrote that Kwon A Sol is going to Brazil for missionary work, and he does not have a return date. So, if that's kind of hinting on him retiring from the sport. And then I saw a report from a journalist in Korea, in one of the Korean media, sports media, and it said on in that article that he would be retired, or he is retired. So and going to Brazil for missionary work. I never knew he was that deep into the church, but I guess being married and having children, maybe he's changed a lot. But if you followed Road FC, if you followed Kwon, you know that he's a shit talking, in your face. He don't give a shit. He's gonna talk shit. He's gonna, he's opposite of what most Asian or Korean fighters, act like. Most guys act like uh, the Korean zombie. I mean, he just goes out, he fights, he doesn't really say much. But Kwon A Sol, he will say whatever he feels, and he has no problem stirring the pot and creating controversy and whatever just to get the attention. And throughout, I think the last couple of years of his career, he became really famous in Korea. The reason why is because of the fighting and because he likes to talk shit, but at the same time, he would do these variety shows on these big networks, and that actually grew his fame a lot. So he became a pretty big star within Korea, and I feel like it was successful. So let's go over some of the things that maybe if you've never seen him fight, or maybe you don't know much about him. I'm gonna go over some of the things that you guys can what is it? You guys can look for or search and go watch it. So if you go back to Azor, he retires. He's 33 years old. That's not a bad age to retire. 33 years old, a total of 33 fights. His record 21 and 12. Um, Not too bad. You know what I mean? Not too bad of a record. Let's go over some of his biggest wins probably in his career. Early in his career, his biggest wins were against um, Kim Do Hyung. You know, you probably don't know who that is, so I'm just saying Kim Do Hyung. He beat Rob Hill. He's got wins over UFC veteran uh, Kwang Yu Ning. You remember him in the UFC? He's got wins over another win over Takasuke Kume, Shinji Sasaki. Those are the biggest wins, but probably his biggest win of his career was at not UFC, Road FC 22 in 2015, when he was defending his title. It was his first Road FC lightweight title defense. It was against Kwang Hee Lee, or Lee Kwang Hee, and they call him Crazy Lee. The reason why they call him crazy, because that fool is crazy. Like, he goes in there and fights like a madman. He Lee Kwang Hee's kind of like, if I would compare him to a fighter in the UFC, or a fighter in the past, it would be Chris Lieben. He's like a Chris Lieben. That's how he fights. The reason why that was the biggest win of his career is because in the early part of Kwan's career, he fought Lee twice in Spirit MC. And Spirit MC is probably like the OG MMA promotion in Korea. Like, a lot of the guys, the OGs of Korean MMA, they all fought for Spirit MC. So then, and Lee fought there. Nami Chur, the Bulldozer, UFC veteran, Road FC champ, he fought there. A bunch of guys fought there. I could, list all of them. Some guys you might know, some guys you might know. But going back to Kwon, he fought Lee twice early in his career for Spirit MC, knocked out twice by Lee. So just think about and there was a lot of trash talking between the two even back then. They didn't like each other, and Lee sparked Kwon twice, like bad, like knockouts, like serious. Because you gotta understand, Lee, he throws from the hip, so whenever he lands, it's pretty devastating. And Lee does have a lot of knockouts. So that when he lost to Lee, that was in 2007. So fast forward, we get to 2015, 2007, 8 years later, they're fighting for the third time. But this time, Kwon is holding the lightweight title for Road FC. So Lee, he's getting the title shot off just having 2 wins against Kwon. So Kwon, he has to win this fight. Lots of pressure. He's defending the title for the first time. Lots of pressure. Lee, nothing to lose basically. He goes in there. If he wins, he beats Kwon for the third time, and he takes home the title. Um, this fight, the reason why it's probably his biggest win is because he did knock out. He didn't really knock him out. It was a doctor stoppage, but he beat Lee, and he was convincingly beating him throughout the first 3 rounds. The stoppage was in the third round. Another reason why this fight is significant is um, Road FC changed their rules after this fight. The reason why is Kwon, he went in there with these like standing elbows. If you watch Calvin Kattar, right? Calvin Kattar, when he threw the standing elbow on Jeremy Stevens, like Kwon was implementing that strike on Lee. And what happened was he hit him with that elbow, split his head open, the forehead, and they had to stop the fight in the third round because of that. So, uh, so after that, they changed the rules. No more elbows in Road FC. That's why right now, if you watch Road FC shows, nobody can throw elbows anymore. But before they did in 2005, they were able to. But then after that, after Road FC 22, they changed the rules. No more elbows. I guess because of the networks. TV networks didn't like all that blood, the big gash. And to me, it doesn't make any sense because you get big gashes from punches. You get big gashes from knees and kicks, shins. But anyways, that was the biggest win probably for Kwon, getting the revenge, stopping the guy, and then continue to hold this title. Um, After that, he fought Shinji Sasaki, knocked him out in the first round. I was shocked by that because I thought Sasaki had the skill set to probably take out Kwon, and I was looking at Kwon as the underdog in that fight, and he came out and took him out, man. It wasn't even a challenge. Sasaki just wasn't even in that fight. It's just all Kwon in that fight, and it was a beautiful fight. He executed well. But then the problem comes. That was in 2016 December. He didn't fight again until April of 2019. Think about that. He fought Sasaki, second title defense, successful, 2016 December. Then he didn't fight again until 2019 April. And that was the fight against Mansar. So, and after that, he got choked out by Mansar first round, and then he came back and took on Habib's cousin and lost that unanimous decision. Completely dominated in both fights. And from what I remember is Kwon, he was saying that he wanted to retire after the Mansar fight, after he lost the title. But he came back for that one last fight, and then I guess now it's over for him. So, I really enjoyed watching him fight. He always showed uh like elevation in skills. And if you look back, he's fought for like uh Heat, Grachan, Legend FC. This is the promotion that was like Robert Whitaker fought there, Kai Kara France, Dan Hooker, uh, the Leech. So many good guys fought at Legend FC, Hong Kong-based promotion. Now they're back, but they only have Chinese fighters fighting on it. He also fought for like Gladiator, Deep. Um, he fought for one championship. He actually fought in 2011. He fought Edward Folayang, right? In ONE FC 1, the first ONE FC in 2011, and he lost a decision to Edward Furlong. And then he went to the military and came back, and of course he signed with Road. But he also fought with for ONE, and after that it was all Road. But yeah, he's fought everywhere. He's fought some of the grittiest guys. Some guys with fucking like 60 fights. You know, Kwon was a guy, he would fight anybody. He's a real fighter. I've ran into him a few times. A nice guy, you know what I mean. He knows how to sell a fight. But other than that, What can you do? Yeah, Mike, I'm actually just talking about Kwon right now. Um, the missionary story is I don't really know too many details about the missionary story. But he's going on a mission for his church, and he's gonna go work down in Brazil. And that's pretty much all I know about that. There's not many details. He hasn't left yet, so we don't. He hasn't done any interviews about that, so I don't know exactly what's going on. But yeah, he's going down there to to help people. You know, what can you say? You can't. It's a lovely thing that he's gonna go down there and do that. All right, now moving on. The next topic of to get into is Asakura, Mikuru Asakura. Now, Mikuru Asakura, according to Mike Skype, right? He's saying that he has four options. Like he has these four things that he wants for his next fighter for in the future, right? So let's go over these. First one is Conor McGregor. He wants to fight Conor McGregor, and I'm just like, come on, dude, for real? Like you want to fight Conor McGregor? Come on, you fight for Ryzen, right? And on top of that, you're not even a champion. Why would Conor McGregor fight you? Kind of, you got to be realistic, right? You got to be when you choose to like set out goals, they have to be somewhat realistic, right? You can't just be like, I want to fight Conor McGregor. You know, it's like Mikuru Asakura saying, I want to fight Conor McGregor is like, let's say, who's comparable to him? It's like, I don't know. It's like, let's say a prospect in the featherweight division in the UFC. It's like just any random prospect in the UFC featherweight division calling out Conor McGregor. There's nothing you can. There's no feelings for that. There's no like, oh, I'm excited, right? Like Asakura is calling out, and then the second option he was talking about is Floyd Mayweather, and I'm just like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. That's like calling out Conor McGregor. Okay, now third option, it says that he wants to super fight with Patricio Pitbull. You know, Patricio Pitbull, the featherweight and lightweight champion for Bellator. This I don't see happening either. You know what I mean? Like I don't, it's I don't see them at that level. You know, I don't see Asakura at the level where he's fighting Pitbull. That doesn't make any sense to me. Um, and why would Pitbull take that fight unless it's for a lot of money? You know what I mean? Unless uh Asakura has a belt, that changes everything because I'm pretty sure Pitbull would want that Rising belt. But then Asakura has to have a belt. But there's no belts. There's no featherweight belt. There has never been a featherweight belt. So that does not make any sense. Now, the fourth option that he mentioned was fighting Tofik Musaev, who is the lightweight champion, at a catch weight of 150 pounds. That is interesting. That is something I could see happening. You know what I mean? Because number one, they both fight for the same promotion. Number two, I'm pretty sure Tofik could probably get down to 150 pounds, right? And he just won the title, so it's not like he's such a huge name like McGregor or Mayweather, and even Pitbull is a massive name compared to Asakura, right? Um, I know Asakura is big in Japan, but anywhere else in the world, nobody knows who he is. At least people know him in America, people know him in Brazil, you know what I mean? And even in Japan, he's known. I was there last year when he was there with his brother, and they were surrounding him. You know what I mean? They knew who he was. So, but the Tofik fight, I could see that happening. Do I see Asakura winning that fight? No. I feel like Tofik would just his all around skill set is much the level of his all around game is much higher than Asakura. Um, but does Asakura have a chance? Yeah, because he has that speed and he has some power. But overall, I think Tofik will go in there and wrestle him to death. And and he'll stand with him too. But I think it's just once they get into the clinch and he feels that power, that strength of Tofik is it's gonna be over after that. But yeah, let's see some questions. Rich Rodero, what's going on, Rich? Andre Arlovsky even fought in ONE FC. Andre Arlovsky fought in ONE FC? Really? Did he? I gotta look that up. Andrei Arlovsky has been fighting for so goddamn long that it's crazy. Who did he fight in 1FC? He fought in 1FC? Gotta go from 2011, 2000. He did fight in 1FC. He fought Tim Sylvia. I totally forgot that. That's pretty fucking crazy. You know? That's pretty fucking crazy, man, that he fought Andrei Arlovsky. Andrei Arlovsky fought Tim Sylvia in 1FC 5 against Tim Sylvia, and they fought to a no contest because of a illegal soccer kick by Andrei Arlovsky. Now I remember. God damn it. That's pretty crazy. All right, now going before we go further, I wanted to go back to Asakura, and I want to look at his record because I was pretty much shitting on Asakura, and let's see who he has beaten. Okay, so let's look at him. Asakura, he's 13-1. He's only lost once, and he lost two. I remember the fight, Road FC 43 to E Kiru. He lost that pretty convincingly in a decision where I thought Asakura was going to go in there and chop his head off, but somehow Igiru pulled it through, man, with the striking. But yeah, Asakura, he's on a massive win streak, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 8 fights now. 8-fight win streak. He's bought. Okay, so if you look at the names who he has beaten, right? He's beaten guys in like he's beaten Luis Gustavo, Yusuke Yachi, and John Teixeira. The last guy, I don't really know him that well, but he's beaten uh decent names, right? Not like, oh my god, these names are fucking phenomenal, right? Yachi's very good, Gustavo's very good, but uh the rest of the guys he's beaten is like not really impressive, to be honest with you. So even a fight with Tofik, it's kind of taking a stretch, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah. So with Asakura, I feel like Ryzen will give him another matchup, somebody who is a featherweight, and maybe they need to like put up a title at featherweight so they could build and create these big fights for, let's say, Asakura. If they don't have a title, they can't create the big fights for Asakura. They need titles, man. There's like none of these guys are like the biggest names, even in Asia. You gotta think about that. They're big names in Japan, so maybe, but it's like, how much money can you pay Asakura? And then how do you have the money to bring over Conor McGregor? Do you have the money to bring over Floyd Mayweather? It's just like I don't see that happening. But yeah. Um, I wish I had. What does that mean? I wish I had as much confidence as him. Who has confidence? Maybe Kwon. I don't know. Let me know. Heading. Who's heading? Anyways. All right. So the next topic that I want to get into is Song Yadong. Right. Song Yadong last weekend. UFC Jacksonville or UFC Florida or whatever the fuck it was. He took on Chito Vera in a featherweight fight, but both of them are bantamweights. Song Yadong's ranked 14th. Chito Vera's ranked 15th in the rankings, the UFC rankings, official rankings. They fought each other at featherweight. Song Yadong wins a split decision. Very close fight. Chito Vera thought he won. He was very angry. Understandable. You know what I mean? Like, it was a close fight. It could have went either way. I wouldn't be mad if Chito Vera won that fight. It's just it's just hard to choose the winner in that fight, right? So Song Yadong, where does he go from here? So if you look at it and you look at the rankings, right? You want him to fight somebody because he's 14th. So it's like when you're 14, you gotta look and say, okay, I gotta fight somebody ahead of me. You can't fight somebody behind you because you already did and you beat that guy, which is Marlon Vera. So if you fight another person behind you, you're fighting somebody outside the rankings, which is risky, in your ranking status. So So the best option is to look at some of the fighters that are ahead of you coming off losses, or a loss, and fighting them, right? So here are some options. You got the first fighter is ranked number 13 is John Dodson. I feel like that would be a good fight for Song Yadong. I don't know if I think Dodson's actually coming off a win, but since uh, so most likely they won't put that fight together because they're so close in the rankings. And Dodson's coming off a win also, so I think Dodson will probably fight somebody else. The next person in the rankings is Dominic Cruz. I think Song Yadong would be great for this fight. Dominic Cruz, he's coming off a loss, getting knocked out by Henry Cejudo. He's a big name. Song Yadong needs a big name. He needs a challenge, and he's 6-0 in the UFC. Uh, Dominic Cruz would be perfect for him. I think that would be a perfect, like, if they would actually have an event in the next, even this year, a headliner. You could put Song Yadong versus Dominic Cruz. That's actually a good headliner in China. Um, will they do that? Who knows? But I like that fight. The 11th ranked guy is Cody Stamann. He fought Cody Stamann. He beat Cody Stamann, which was very controversial, and I felt like that was kind of that was a robbery. Song Yadong should have lost that fight. There's Rob Font. He's coming off a win, so they probably won't put him against him. There's Cody Garbrandt, but I feel Cody Garbrandt is signed up to fight Rafael Asuncao, so most likely that won't happen. Jimmy Rivera, that's a fight. Number 8, Jimmy Rivera. I think Jimmy Rivera is coming off a couple losses versus Song Yadong. That's a good fight. You know what I mean? If Jimmy Rivera beats Song Yadong, that means he gets back in the win column. He can he can move forward in the rankings. You know what I mean? Like, he'll stay in the same spot, but then he could fight somebody else with a name. Uh, and then the rest of the guys, I don't see Song Yadong fighting. Pedro Munoz, I don't see him fighting him. Jose Aldo, no. Sun Zhao, no. Sanhagen. When you get to like Sanhagen and Jan and Sterling and Marias, those four, they're basically in line to fight each other, or they're in line to fight for the title. So Song Yadong, your options. My choices for him would be Dominic Cruz, or Jimmy Rivera. Right, those would be the fights to make. Both those guys coming off losses, and they need a win. So why not put Song Yadong in there and test him? Let's see. All right, so what do you guys think about Song Yadong? Like, did you guys think he won the fight? Did you watch the fight? Um, do you agree with the judges? I just said to you guys, it could have went either way. You know, if Song Yadong would have lost that fight, I wouldn't be too angry about that. Let's go to now talking about what is it? Chito Vera, right? Chito Vera lost the fight, and he put out an interesting tweet. If you guys seen his tweets, I don't know if you guys seen them, but I'm gonna read it to you. His tweet that he put out after the fight when he won or he lost. Let me see. Let me find it real fast. All right. All right. So here you go. So after the fight, Chito Vera goes back and goes on to Twitter to express his emotions. And this is what he wrote: I don't lost the fight to the Chinamen. I lost to the judges tonight. All my hard work to the fucking drain. I can't believe this horse shit tonight. Um, understand his I understand his emotions. Uh, you could tell that either he's terrible at English or English is not his first language, and most likely English is not his first language. He's from Ecuador. Spanish is his first language, and the use of the word Chinaman, you know, not tasteful at all. A big mistake. A big. But at the same time, it's like, he does he even know that is is a is a term that's not, it's frowned upon, in America towards Asians. Maybe not. But I heard that in the past, his corner said uh, some things during the Andre Yule fight, so I don't know. See, I don't see, like, if I take this into the negative light, I'm and really nobody's talking about this tweet, right? There's no media covering this tweet saying like, "Oh, was this tweet racist?" Right? And it's almost like nobody cares about it because it's to Asian people. There's that thing too, like if it happens to someone that's Asian, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? But if it was like a black guy or if it was a white guy or some other race, right? It'd be different. So would it be different? I have no idea. You know what I mean? But I feel like they're not covering it. No one's covering it. And there should be a little bit of coverage and they should ask Cheeto about that. Like, what did this tweet mean? You know what I mean? Like he didn't take it down. It's not erased. So that means he doesn't know or he doesn't care. Song Yadong probably don't care. He probably is not even on Twitter at all anyways. Um anyways. But yeah, it's just if if he really felt like that, if he doesn't know that that's a term that's not, you know, a derogatory term or whatever, and he's using it, then he's got to address that. Someone's got to address that. You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody covers. No one says anything. Okay, everybody thinks that, like you make fun of Asian people is like just funny and shit, but really it's not. Like if I openly just made fun of like white people, or if I openly made fun of like black people, then Asian person would be racist. But when you make fun of Asians, it's kind of a joke. So uh, I guess like some people I seen like Bina Win, she retweeted and she said something about the Chinaman stuff. But yeah, like even her, she did it. Big up to her. But there's no other Asians out there. Like most of the Asians, they don't care. I'm not saying they don't care, but I just said they don't care, but, uh, most of them, they're not paying attention to it. And, you got Andre Sukumtai, he's pretty outspoken, probably one of the most outspoken fighters, Asian fighters. But I wish more Asian fighters would be outspoken about this type of stuff, and just don't let it slide. Who am I? I'm just, a guy that interviews the fighters, so I could only say so much. Now let's go to the questions. What is this guy? Pancake Poppy? I like your picture. You got the scar face. Always wanted to do martial arts, but my cock is big, so it is awkward when grappling. Well, that's a good problem to have, man. Why, if you it's not awkward, man. Like if you think it's awkward, then it's awkward. But if the other people they don't think it's awkward, it's just part of grappling, right? So, are you doing some nasty shit? Like, are you grinding on people with your dick? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, if it's awkward, I think you're making it awkward. It's not like the other person's like, your dick is so fucking big that they're like, oh my God. It's Are they arm barring your dick? Is that what's going on? Your cock is so big that they're arm barring that shit, or like Kimoring your dick and it's awkward. You have to tap to a Kimura on your dick. Like what the fuck? You fucking weirdo. Now, next one. Vera threw a knee after the bell in round one, so I didn't like him from the from the jump. Nasty attitude from the beginning. Yeah, sometimes those things sometimes happen. Let's see what's next. I thought Marlon won, but you can put an argument for Song. Yeah, man. Same here, man. Like either way. Next. Yep, clowning on Asians is treated as a joke. It is, man. And and, it's hard. It's just stupid. If he didn't mean it offensively, he should have listened to the people who explained the term and said, "Okay, I'll learn from it." But he didn't. But he's being defensive about not knowing as a justification. So he spoke about it. I don't even know. I didn't even read the rest of the. Do you speak about it? Because there's so many comments there. Like, I don't even know if he responded to it. But yes, there's a lot of you writing some stuff there, like on that comment, like casual racism is okay. The Chinaman was not the issue here, dude. Like, there's people defending it, like he knows doesn't know what Chinaman is, and you you don't know what he knows. That I understand these people in the comments, like You don't know what the fighter knows, so you can't speak on that person. You know what I mean? It's just it's pointless. Like you're defending people you don't know. That's what's fucking stupid about Twitter. Is fucking people defending people that they don't even know. Like, what's the point? All right. So, anyways, so it's in the IG comments. All right. So, okay. So now with that one, I addressed. We talked about it, whatever. You know, what I mean, I'm not tripping about it too much because of course his English is not his first language, and I've been around a lot of like growing up. I spent many years with Mexicans, like Mexicans that are born in the U.S. and Mexicans from Mexico, and they they um they call you Chino, man. Like when they meet you, they call you Chino. That's like normal. And what Chino means is like China person or Chinese person or China man or whatever, right? So I could see like how he could like flip it to Chinaman, right? So I'm just trying to play devil's advocate or what do you want to call it. But yeah, um, for Spanish or like the style of Spanish that like the Mexicans spoke, Chino, that's what they would call them. I don't know about Spain or like Ecuador or whatever, but most of like the South American, Central American countries, they kind of have this similar style, I guess, of Spanish. So maybe that's the reason. Anyways, moving on from Song hopefully gets a big opponent next and gets tested. Um, Before we go on to ARC is going to be the show that's coming up this weekend in Korea. Let me get to these questions. Do you watch Do you watch kickboxing? No. Do you watch Glory Kickboxing? Not too much. Sorry about that. I guess I should be watching that stuff, but right now I'm not. There's too much MMA. All right, so now let's get into A ARC1. ARC1 is a show, a MMA show, uh, and a new MMA show that they're starting. It has a unique rule set. It's Road FC. Hold par- it's a partnership between Road FC and Africa TV. So Africa TV is this big. Um, Let me get this right. This giant P2P technology based video streaming service. So if you go to Africa TV, Africa TV is AFREECA TV. That's Africa TV, right? So if you go to Africa TV, they're going to be streaming this event on Saturday night in Korea time, Saturday night, 8 p.m. In North America, you guys will probably have to wake up in the morning and watch it early in the morning, probably 7 a.m. or something like that, EST. But yeah, but with this, right? With this, you got a special rule set. So what they're trying to do is they're holding the show. There's no audience. It's just gonna be a cage, and the cage is inside a esports arena. So basically, what they did is they set up a cage inside where they usually do esports competitions, and they're gonna have like these big screens and shit everywhere, and that's gonna be the arena because of course the COVID-19 is fucking everything up. Now, the rule set is different. The reason why is these guys are all pros, right? But they're going to be fighting 3 3-minute rounds, 3 3-minute rounds, but they're pro fights. And also the rules are they're going the system called the 3-3-3 system. So what that 3-3-3 system is, everything is with threes. So you got 3 minutes, 3 rounds, and then what it is if you get a knockout or a submission in the first 30 seconds of the fight, you get a bonus. Okay, so that's 3, right? 30. And then the second thing is if when the fight goes to the ground, like you have 30 seconds to do something or they're gonna stand it back up. Do you understand? So it's gonna be interesting to see like what actually happens when these fighters go to the ground. So this is gonna be a very this rule set is great for strikers because you're not going to be on the ground for very long if someone actually takes you down. It's 30 seconds and you're back up, and then you're back to swinging your hands and your feet and trying to get that knockout. Um, so so the rule set, that's what it is. It's like they want to pump out more shows, faster shows, more knockouts, more finishes, and this is the way that they feel like the rule set should be to do that. And yeah, and they don't have an audience, so they're gonna roll it out. I think there's gonna be 10 fights on the card. A couple names that are familiar with Road. The singer fighter or whatever, he's headlining it, big open weight competition. And then the co-main event is Nandine Erdine, which is a crazy knockout artist, lightweight, versus Kim Zae-young. Kim Zae-young is one of the top featherweights. So it's a lightweight with knockout power versus a featherweight who's mostly a grinder. So I wonder what's gonna happen in that fight. Most likely someone's getting knocked out because that dude's gonna have to come in and just throw hands with Nandine Erdine. Let's see what's next. Okay, so ARC 1 this Saturday. Check it out. Let's see. Do you know who Mr. Arkansas is? He's a legend in on YouTube. Is Mr. Arkansas Bryce Mitchell? I never heard of Mr. Arkansas. Um, let's see this one. It says, I think two newbie guys from Team Stun Gun are doing the ARC thing. I think so too. There should be. Uh, there's a bunch of. I think yeah, there are some Stun Gun guys on here. It's like everybody's Korean on the card except for two fighters. Nandine Erdine, he's Mongolian, and Davron Kolmatov. Kolmatov. I don't know what country he's from, but those are the foreigners. So a lot of these guys are up and comers. They're some of them are making their pro debuts. So we might get some crazy fights. We might not, but UFC is not on this weekend. There's not any cards. I don't believe. So why don't you tune in and watch it? You know what I mean? Check it out. All right. Now, so if you guys got any questions, you know what I mean, like just throw some questions on in the chat, and then we'll get to those questions in a bit. But who is Mr. Arkansas? Let me know. You know what I mean? Like he's a legend on YouTube. He better not be some porn guy or some shit. Mr. Arkansas. Mr. Arkansas. Who is Mr. Arkansas? I don't even know who Mr. Arkansas is. There's nothing for Mr. Arkansas. I just typed it in. It says there's a video that says Mr. Arkansas sucks. Mr. Arkansas. Mr. Arkansas versus the MMA guru, aka Rip Off Guru. Okay, so Mr. Arkansas is Mr. A MMA. This guy. Let me see his page. So he does YouTube prediction wars, live reactions. Okay. So basically, you came on here to promote Mr. Arkansas. Oh, good. Go check out Mr. Arkansas. Go subscribe to his page and go watch what he does. I guess he's a legend on YouTube. That's what the guy says. Now, the next part, moving on. Bibiano Fernandez. I think in an interview with Sherdog, he said that he wants to, or he's thinking about, or maybe he's open to a move up to featherweight. You know, he's a bantamweight right now. He's the one of the best ever to fight in the bantamweight division. There's no doubt about that. You cannot even argue that. Like if you look at his track record, look what has accomplished, and he's still fighting right now. Can't deny him. He's like top 5 ever bantamweights. Crazy titles. Like he fighting in Japan back in the day, everything. So you can't deny it. But he's talking about going up to the featherweight, and I like that idea. There's a lot of fights at featherweight. There's a lot of decent names at featherweight he can fight. Um, so, and then he could go fight Martin at featherweight. Imagine like if he went up there and fought Martin at featherweight for the title, and he already has a win over Martin at bantamweight. And I know Martin wants to go down uh, to bantamweight again to fight Bibiano because he felt like he won the first fight. So there's it's kind of tricky situation right now. If Bibiano goes up to featherweight, they could make that fight because Bibiano could jump the line and get that title shot right away. Because right now it's up, everything's up in the air. Why not? If Bibiano wants to do it, let's do it. I'm pretty sure Martin Nguyen doesn't care, man. If he gets to fight Bibiano again at featherweight in his weight class, that's a fight I would take. That's a big fight right there. Um, let's do that. I like it. Even if he doesn't fight for the title, there's a lot of good fights that you could put. Think of him versus Gary Tonin. Him versus uh like even him versus like Shannon Weirchai. Even him versus uh oh imagine him versus Murat Gafurov. There's a lot of fights there. If you look at bantamweight, there's not a lot of bantamweight fights for him. Like that's like there's guys coming up, there's prospects, but there's no guys that are established where there's like they have big wins, big names, bigger names, and they're all in the featherweight division. Featherweight division behind the lightweight division is the most stacked division in one championship. It's featherweight division or it's one lightweight and then featherweight division. There's no argument. That's just how it is. That's just the truth. So Bibiano going up there and letting Kevin run a little bit, run the show a little bit at at bantamweight. Why not? So maybe you could go back later when the prospects become contenders and fight again at bantamweight. Because last time I talked to Bibiano, he wasn't even close to thinking about retiring. He wants to fight forever. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's go to some of the questions. Let's see. Heading, what's going on with Du Ho Choi? I thought he was supposed to go to military service in 2018, come back in 2020, but he hasn't. I think this is the last year he can do it. Yeah, from what he was saying in Busan, he was saying that they just kept delaying his application to go to the military because he's going to this like for some from what I remember, he was going to like one of those like it's not like a regular post. It's like a office job basically. So you could like go to work and come back home type deal. And that is a selective process. So you might not get in the first time. And I'm thinking that he I'm thinking that he's just been getting kicked to the curb and shit, and that's what happened. It's just delayed and delayed, and he doesn't even know when he's going. There has been no word about if he's going to the military. He just opened his brand new gym. He kind of got fucked too because he was he had built his gym. It was like all the construction was done, and then his gym is in Tegu, and the COVID-19 explosion happened in Tegu where his gym is like right when he was going to open it. So it delayed his opening for like 3 months, 4 months. And 3, 4 months, that's a lot of cash you're losing with nobody running the gym. So I'm pretty sure he has his hands full with that right now. I don't know what he's going to do with the military service. Uh, maybe he's going to go soon. I have no idea. Let's go next one. Thoughts on Megan Anderson, Rich Rodeo? Thoughts on Megan Anderson? You think she will get title shot against Amanda Nunez? What other featherweights are there to challenge? Thoughts on Megan Anderson? Megan Anderson, um, I don't know. I don't see her beating Amanda Nunez. I don't really see anybody beating Amanda Nunez. I don't even think like there's a stylistic challenge for Amanda Nunez at featherweight. Megan Anderson is good. She's better than 80, 90% of the featherweights out there, but really that's not saying much because there's not many featherweights out there. The women's featherweight division is probably the slimmest of any division, both men and women. So And the UFC shows you that by only having what? They don't even have rankings, do they? Let me see the rankings right here for featherweights. There's no rankings for featherweight because they don't have enough people in the featherweight division. I wish they would just get rid of that division. Why even have that division? You might as well take away the featherweight division and add the women's atomweight division. There's like so many girls out there fighting an atomweight, like high level girls in all these different promotions. You could pick all of them up. Why why keep around the featherweight division? That's just one thing that I'll never understand. And maybe because I don't run a promotion and that's why I don't understand. But with Megan Anderson, um, her chances of becoming champion are not too high in my eyes, you know what I mean? Unless she shows like more in her next fight. If her next fight's a title shot, that's not good. I feel like she needs one more fight. She should fight somebody else, but there's no way to fight because she's beaten a couple of the girls already. So I have no idea. I have no idea like what they're gonna do with that. Uh, but I don't see her becoming champion, especially not against Amanda Nunez. Head in. Oh, I like public service. Exactly, public service job. Yeah, those are the jobs that are difficult to get. Um, Michael Fidel. What's going on, Mike? Hi, JHK. Hope you're well. Of course, man, I'm well. Just tuning in. Which three potential fights would you like to see at Rise's return to action following the COVID-19 layoff? Um, so if you look at that, of course the fights that I want to see if they come back is Horiguchi versus Kai Asakura, the rematch. I want to see that happen. But I don't know if that's going to happen because both of them are coming off losses. Both of them are coming off knockout losses. So do they make that fight immediately? I don't see it happen. I feel like they're going to fight some other guys. But that's a fight of course I want to see. I want to see the rematch between Mustaev, the lightweight champ, Mustaev, and Pitbull, Patricia Pitbull. I wish they would make that fight, but I think Patricia Pitbull has a fight coming up in October versus the Irishman. I forgot his name, but whatever. Yeah, I think, but that's a fight that I want to see coming up. I would like to see Michael Chandler come over because it looks like he's really interested in fighting in Japan and fight Mustaev. That would be a good fight. I want to see Jake Hyon fight Rocky Martinez again. I want to see that rematch. Um, yeah, those are just a couple of the fights that I would like to see in Rise. And who else is there? Uh, I want to see Hamza come back and defend their title against. I could see them doing a rematch too. There's a lot of rematches. I guess I'm like obsessed with the rematches right now with Ryzen. So yeah, Hamza versus Ayaka Hamasaki rematch to kind of like finally settle the score. That last fight, that was so close, man. A lot of people thought that Hamasaki got robbed, and they they have a good argument, but Ham has the belt, so can't really do anything about that unless they fight again. But yeah, thanks, Mike, for the question. Appreciate that. Let's see this guy. Rich Roder, yeah, but yeah, true. Not a lot of death in the division. However, Nunez is all class. Yeah, Nunez is one of the greatest of all time, man. What can you say? She's beaten Cyborg. She knocked out Cyborg. She knocked out Holly Holmes. She beat Valentina twice. Um, She's she smashed Ronda Rousey, Misha Tate. Man, there's just the list is long, you know what I mean? The only thing that yeah, the only fight the only fight that I want to see is Nunez versus Cyborg, the rematch. That's the only fight that I want to see. And maybe uh Nunez versus Shevchenko one more time. Just to fucking, you know, just to just to fucking see that fight again. It was crazy. The first two fights were so close. You never seen anybody fight um Nunez like that. You know what I mean? Like standing up, facing her, and hanging with her, and Shevchenko smaller, which is crazy. Yeah, so I love the how that technical aspect of that fight goes on, and to see how much they have developed since their last fight, Nunez. But Nunez and Cyborg need to fight again. The reason why is right now you don't really know who's the greatest female fighter of all time. They're like neck and neck. The reason why they're neck and neck, even though Nunez beat Cyborg and knocked her out, the reason why neck and neck is Cyborg she's the only Grand Slam champion, right? She got the Invicta, Strikeforce, UFC, and Bellator titles. The only person to do that. Four titles, four different major organizations. It kind of levels it out, you know what I mean? Nunez beat her, but that levels it out. So if they fight again and Nunez knocks out Cyborg again or beats Cyborg, that makes Nunez undisputably the greatest woman fighter of all time. You cannot argue it. But if Cyborg beats Nunez, then Cyborg is the greatest. You know, she just has the four titles, the Grand Slam, you know, moniker is just there has been nobody to ever do that. Like you can't take that away from Cyborg. I don't think that's gonna ever happen again. That's why they need to fight again, but it will probably never happen. All right, next question. So I got about 4 minutes left. So get in your questions if you have some. Do you know what gym Sung Choi joined? It looks like he was training with a rapper. I was very confused. Sung Choi, from what I know, is like he's jumping from gym to gym, and then he's working with this boxer, this boxing trainer to get his boxing right. I think he's still recovering from some kind of injury that he has. But yeah, Sung Choi, he's jumping around and trying to find a place. I've heard some rumors of like a new team being formed in Korea by uh by some of the fighters, and there's one coach. Um, but that's just the rumors. Sung Choi might be part of that. I have no idea. But there's a lot of guys right now just floating around that are not on teams. Like you got Son Jin-soo, he's floating around out there. You got Bungi Bum, he's floating around out there. You got Sung Choi floating around. You got Kim Hanser, he's a welterweight. I think he's like probably one of the best prospects coming out of Korea. But nobody, I don't know if a lot of people know who he is, but he's very good. I could see them, doing something if they formed a team. But yeah, but the important part is like, do they have a coach? Do they have a coach that can actually really coach them like on every different skill? You know what I mean? Like they need an MMA coach, and then they could bring in other guys to kind of supplement certain aspects, but they need an MMA guy, someone that has fought and someone that has been trained by, good coaches and to come in and help them. So we'll see what happens with that. Is it another team mad in a different city? There's so many. No, it won't be team mad. It's uh just another new team, you know what I mean? Just a brand new team, not a team mad. Um, Team Mad, I don't know if they do have a bunch of uh affiliate gyms where their fighters go out and open a gym, a Team Mad gym in their city, and then they run that, and then when they have fights, they go train at the main Team Mad in Busan. But other than that, I don't think it's a Team Mad though. They're creating their own team. There's a lot of shifts happening in Korean MMA right now, behind the scenes, and and you guys will start seeing some stuff happening. But that's it. Can't say too much more because then I'll be revealing too much. But anyways, um, thank you guys for joining. 1 hour flies by so fast. This week I did it solo, so it's kind of weird because the last few weeks I've been doing it with a guest, but next week I'll be coming back most likely with another guest, and I don't know who it is. I haven't figured it out yet, but we'll see what happens. But you guys take care and stay safe and wash your hands and wash your ass and don't use so much Lysol. Take care, people.